Yeah,
We here. Creative
we here.
Collection NYC.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
We
man. Talking
are
about what can
here.
make it better.
What's going on? How's the energy?
Yeah. We lit. We lit. Peace, Morse.
Peace,
Peace,
peace.
more.
Peace.
So we have special guest Cush Day in the building all the way from Chicago to drop
Salute,
some
Mhm.
salute.
knowledge and
Yeah.
wisdom and
Appreciate
teaching.
I appreciate y'all for having me on here.
We appreciate your time, King.
Yeah,
Likewise, for
thank
sure.
you.
What's up with it? Let's get it.
All right,
Yeah.
so this is what we doing. It's Creative Collection. It's called What Can Make It Better, aka What Can Make the World Better. And we like
Yeah.
to bring information, solutions, just raise up the frequency and give people the things that they need, and give us, our people, the things that we need to make the world better, from actions, practice, discipline, more love, just all types of different things. And we like to talk about that. So now
Mhm.
we're with our special guest, Cush, right here, and he does uncomfortable conversations. And I like that because that's all about growth. It get uncomfortable when you're growing. So I just
Mhm.
wanted to make sure I get a sub introduction of this conversation correct for the people.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
You can continue, Swiggy.
First, I want you to introduce yourself, Kush, and let everybody know who you are. So, you can start with that. Just a brief description of who you are and what you do, and then I'll get into the questions.
Okay. Well, my name is Cush Day. I'm a Moorish American historian. Education is my thing. Putting out positive information to the people so the peoples can know who we are, what we claiming, what we need to be doing instead of just out here complaining. You feel me? Like it's a lot of solutions that our people have it that literally inside themselves. So that's my duty right now to uplift fallen humanity with the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Islam, thank you. Okay, so now, how do you view yourself as a foreign national within this corporation? Did I say it right? Is that right?
Nah, well, okay. Let's take it right there. We're not see that we're not the foreigners here in the Americas. The foreigners here in the Americas will be the pale face Europeans. Those are the foreigners. We are Moors. Anyone that says that they're a so-called black person, your nationality is Moorish. So since that we're Moorish Americans, we've been under the illusion of colonization, calling ourselves things that denote to chattel property, such as Black, Indian, Native American, Pan-African. All of those are tags that delude to slavery. So instead of us being in a national status, we've denationalized ourselves through our language to say that we're so-called color people.
Right. So now I'm being educated still because I'm still in my walk with this.
Yeah.
And with the laws and everything. So when I say foreign national, I mean like to the corporation, we are looked at as foreigners, or at least that's how they are tricking us to think that we are foreign. Like you said,
Yeah.
we're not. You understand? They are, but still, like when you're trying to discharge yourself, you like how they treat me is I'm foreign. They treat me like an alien because I have my native background, right? My indigenous background. So they actually have me as a Jane Doe, and my race and my ethnicity is none in their system. So they treat me like I'm a foreigner to their corporation. That's what I meant by that question.
Yeah. Yeah. So as far as it all starts with status. Okay. Status is your rank, your position, your title on the land. That's your lawful status, or you could say your legal status. Then it goes down to jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is basically somebody telling you what to do. Like if somebody came in your house and they told you, go over there and make me a sandwich and a lemonade. Now, would you let somebody come in your house and tell you that?
No,
Absolutely not.
no.
Exactly. So what the corporation is actually the foreign corporation is conducting business. So what they're doing to our people is the example that I just gave. They're in our house, our Morocco, and the Americas. So they're telling us to go over there and make a sandwich and get them some lemonade. And while you on that, you're gonna pay us taxes while I want you to. This is what they doing. Making us pay for electricity, making us pay for water, making us pay to travel on our own land. This is what the foreign corporation is doing. But how do they get away with it? They get away with it when they hire people that look like us and tell us like, oh, nah, you getting treated because the color of your skin. In reality, it's not the color of our skin. It's our legal status. Our legal status as Moors, as Americans, even if you just want to say I'm an American, your legal status by blood and birthright is called free white person. That means you have the highest rank status on the land. Feel me?
Right.
So the corporation through the Census Bureau has classified us as Black, Negro, colored, African American, etc. to get us to give up our national status as Moors or Americans.
Right. Right.
So yeah. I'm listening.
Yeah, man. No, you were saying something, Squeaky?
Well, I was waiting till you finish.
Nah, go ahead. We all good. Keep it flowing.
So now, basically, okay, I thought, according to the, correct me if I'm wrong, the 1933 HJR 132 of 1933, that the joint resolution, I thought that America's debts were paid off. I don't know if we were included or not, but I thought that that is what applies to us and with the UCC codes. So how does that, like, how is that they put that out there for America's debts to be discharged, but then when we try to claim them, why do we get why are we in contempt, and why do we get put in jail, or they try to come to you, knock on your door like you did something wrong, when you're basically feeding them back with what they already said is in the law. It's public knowledge that they said that. So can you help me understand, because I'm still walking through this. Right?
Okay, that's a great question. So how the U.S. corporation does this is we go back to status again. So we've been tricked to get out of our national status as Moors, as the Moorish Americans. So 14th Amendment, you said 1933, right?
Yeah.
1933, you got to go before 1933. You go to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship.
Right.
The Treaty of Peace and Friendship was to allow Europeans to do business in the Americas, Morocco. So through that treaty supersedes anything that the U.S. corporation can ever do. And that's even further backed up when you open up the Constitution. When you open up the Constitution, you go to Article 4, Section 4, which states that the form of government shall be a Republican form of government. Each state is guaranteed a Republican form of government. Now, why is that important? Because the Constitution only applies to people who are in their national status, Americans. So the trick has been to get us to be classified as foreigners, aliens in our own house. So when they say, well, you owe us taxes and your status is Black or Indian, yeah, you gotta pay them taxes because you're in that jurisdiction. Make me a sandwich, pay me taxes, bring me some lemonade, bring me some grape juice. You know what I'm saying? That's what they doing. I'm gonna tax you on everything that you got. That's how it's working.
All right, so I got a question with that. With the swap around, with the switch around of slavery happening as we were taken captive from somewhere else.
Yeah.
What's the difference now? What's the difference now with this being our house? Like, what's the big significant difference in what's the history? Briefly, what's like the history change for that?
Okay, good question. The change for that is you would have to go to 1871. Really, you could kick it off with 1861. But even the term slavery itself, that deals with Eastern Europeans. That's actually a bloodline. So Moors, or you would say melanated people on the planet, can never be slaves. We can only be political prisoners, because slave deals with Slav, S-L-A-V. So that's actually Eastern Europeans that were captured by Germans and converted into slavery. So they put the tag of slavery on us to confuse us, to get us to think like, yeah, y'all was brought over here from Africa to the Americas. See what I'm saying? Yeah, and then you go into 1861, 1871, you have what's known as the Act of Congress. The Act of Congress is what was this really like the switch from this being a Republican form of government to a democracy form of government, which deals with, like say all of us right now, right? And say like, Squeaky, let's say we all want to get some roti and some rice and bean and peas or something, right? Mm-hmm. And Squeaky, you want to go get a pizza, right? So in a Republican form of government, which it originally is and always will be, you got the right to go get a piece of pizza, right? No matter what we want to do, because that's your unalienable right. That's your birthright. Can't nobody tell you what you can eat. You know what I'm saying? That's your human right. Mm-hmm. But in a democracy, though, we gotta eat roti, rice, and peas, because we outnumber you. So our vote trumps what you want to do. That's like how it happened in 1871 with the Act of Congress. See, they did it under the veil that it was a Republican form of government, like it was something good. But in actuality, it was pulling us further into the trap.
Segues into the next question I'm gonna get into. Go ahead, Design.
Now I was saying it's dynamic. Like the truth is, you really just gotta put your eye on it. You know what I'm saying? And I think like for historian is always gonna be able to break it down and get to that point where they like, all right, look, this year this happened and this caused this effect, cause and effect. You know what I'm saying? You start to see things from there.
Yeah.
Are you having anything to say, Roy?
Yeah, for some of the people out there, like, where can they tap into some of this information? Like, where do you get some of your, your information from?
Okay. You could go to rvbaypublications.com. You can go, that's a great source. You could go to riseofthemoors.org. You can go there. You can go to khalifamedia.com. Canaan Land Moors. You can go there on YouTube. Check them out. And you can go to Khalifa Society. You can go check them out too.
Thank you for that. What's the process like to becoming a Moor?
The real is there is no process. There's no process to becoming a Moor, because you can't become something that you were born as. We were all born. Again, if you say, like the definition of an American, the 1836 definition of an American is any Aboriginal copper, it says colored, but we don't deal with color. So any Aboriginal, indigenous, copper complexion person on these lands is an American. So if you have copper color or various copper complexion, then you are already a Moor by birthright from our mothers. This is why we're all Muslims. We're all Muslim sons, because we come from our mothers.
Right. I was asking for the legal standpoint, like as far as like the paperwork.
You gotta look at the definition of legal and lawful. Legal is, like you just said, is paperwork. It's dealing with paperwork. Lawful is dealing with natural law, the creator. So you don't have a creator. You don't have paperwork when you're dealing with nature. Like if you're looking in the wilderness, let's say nature, right? Let's jump into nature. So if you're looking at nature, an antelope that wanders off in the wrong territory where the lion's at, paperwork not gonna save them. You know what I'm saying? The antelope dead. That's natural law. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you're dealing with human beings, this is why we got to get on universal law. We got to get on common law, because common law is you are what your mother is by bloodline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm following you.
So it's interesting when you look at nature and you look at human beings. It's similar because you can learn a lot from nature, because we all come from nature. and you dealing with because it's a lot of people out here that work for COINTELPRO. They keep pushing this narrative, like, you know, like the question that you asked, which was a good question, real good question, because it's a lot of confusion because people think like they got to go through a process or fill out forms to be something. When actuality, when you look at an Asian, do you ever think like, does an Asian fill out a form to be a Japanese person?
Right.
Or
I can say that the reason he asked that is because he means like as far as proclaiming it
yeah,
in a worldly way, like where it's like it's just, you know, oh, you're no longer, you know, this quote unquote slave. You're now, you know,
Right, because
you're now
basically,
royalty.
like, if we go to court right now, they would consider me property of the state.
exactly. I mean, they're gonna consider that because we're under colonial occupation. So you're right. But the thing is, once you proclaim, first your mentality has to already be on who you are in law. So in law, you already are more. You're a natural in full life, in propria persona being. But through the indoctrination of the John D. Rockefeller school systems, they got us out here brainwashed and we think like we're colors. So our speech is dealing with color. Whole time we really be talking and enslaving ourselves through our language. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
the word first was the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God. So when we speak words, which are really spells for good or bad, and the words are swords. So think about it. If a swordsman was using his blade wrong, he'd be doing damage to himself, right?
Absolutely.
Feel me? Versus him being a trained, well-groomed swordsman or swordswoman, they can handle that blade as well as like a firearm. So us as Moors, we got to get into law. And once we get into law, then we can start being what we are. Because you said you made a point about if you go into a courtroom, they will automatically assume that you're a color person. You know what I'm saying? But when you open your mouth, right? So when you open your mouth up, then you say, "Who are?" When they ask you what, this how they get us, because we've been indoctrinated, myself included, until start studying. So they'll be like, "What's your name?" See, when they say that to us, they're giving it's called assumable jurisdiction. So they're already assuming that we don't know when we go in there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So when they already got us like, yeah, these niggas don't know nothing. We could just talk over them. That's called assumable jurisdiction. So they already looking at it like, he's just another name, a black dude or a black chick. They on the docket. We finna slam them for all the money that we can get out of them. That's how they look at us. Until we come in there on our square in law. Like when they say, "What's your name?" They're already setting you up because that's a loaded question. We don't have names, we have appellations. So you would say, well, I would say, or I'm Cush Dey, in full life, in propria persona, sui juris, which means my title is Cush Dey. I'm already setting them up as Moorish American. Then I'm saying in propria persona means I'm presenting myself in full life, not as a slave or a subject to the U.S. corporation, which is a foreigner. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me how words, like you said, the word of God, and how things are formed from words and how powerful words are. Like when you really take the time to listen and understand that the language that we're using on a regular every day is giving everything access to your energy and to your soul. Like it's giving, words are given so much, just words alone.
Right. This is the third time we heard this. Like in the beginning, this is the word, because words are so powerful.
Yeah.
And we speak our reality, and you do have to announce, that your knowledge when you come across these people in these situations. Like everybody thinks that they gotta pay their way out, they gotta separate pay. But I be telling people, you don't have to pay nothing. All you have to do is study. You know?
Right, because in all actuality, you can never. It's no such thing as a free black slave. You know how people like in the movies, they be putting out and shit, how they be like, well, this is a slave and this is a free black person or a free colored. If You feel me? So if you're under the jurisdiction of colored, you're never free. You can, like, look at these athletes. Like, on case in point, how did all R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, they got all this bread, all the so-called black athletes. They be having all this paper, right? But how they always get slammed in the courts? Why they can't buy their way out? Know what I'm saying? They can't.
Because
They're uneducated, very much.
And they're not spiritually free. They're not spiritually free. They might be fine. They might have like an edge up financially, like in the world, like, you know, they got a little bit of money, but are they spiritually free? Do they understand who they are? I mean, I think we should all know, like, you know what I'm saying, whoever had us in quote unquote slavery, it's not the last names the last names that our families carried was not from where we actually came from. So our identity is lost. We should know that.
There you go. There you go. So there you go on the money. So when you say, what is your nationality? Like, you see all these high price or high paid athletes and whatnot, actors, they always get slammed. But who don't get slammed? No, the hybrid Europeans. Hybrid Europeans don't get slammed because they playing the game. They playing the reversal of it's called the skin game. So Europeans are claiming to be free white. They don't say free white. They say they claiming to be white people. But in law, there's no such thing as white people. It's a term called free white person. And this is who European hybrids, Caucasians, this is who they pretending to be. They can never be white people though. Never. You ask a European after this interview, you go outside, go move around, and tonight, ask one of these Europeans you might come across like, hey, what's your nationality? They're not going to say white. Or they might pull it with you and say white, but then you'll be like, white is not a place. It's not a land. Where are you from? Then they're going to be like Lithuania, Poland, you know what I'm saying? Switzerland, Germany. But see, they play the game, but see, they know that we Moors. But they play the game like they don't know who they are. So I'm going to tell them I'm white. That's the game.
Right. I agree.
The next European that you see, this axe went on.
I ain't gonna lie, I never heard that one. But that's making me think though, because it's because the title, because I always thought about it. I'm like, black is not a ethnicity, and then I'm like, neither is white. I used to think about that too when I was younger too.
Yeah, but they give you those definitions when you're filling out forms and applying for stuff. They give you the definitions next to those names, right? And so we're under the color of law, right?
Color is color of law.
Color law. So that's what they going. They playing that, and then they give you some definitions next to what black means. Oh, black means a group of peoples from Africa, such and such. You know what I mean? Like,
you want to hear something interesting? If you look at the U.S., a lot of our people have been, like, our people as a whole have been colonized too on paper genocide. So when you look at the history of the U.S. Census Bureau itself, vital statistics, they have marked any of the so-called Indians, Native Americans, black, colored, they label them all the same thing. But what's interesting is, if you look at how Squeaky was just talking about, like, the classifications. If you look at white, if you get a chance, Google it, look up white in the U.S. Census Bureau. It's going to say North African. Then you'll be like, damn, well, hold up. What you mean North African? Then you look up the definition of Moor in the dictionary. Look up in the older dictionary, like the American Heritage College Dictionary. That's a good reference. You look it up there, fam, why it's going to say North African as Moors? And then you look at, wait a minute. Where's North Africa? North Africa is the Americas.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? See how wild it be though? Whole time, this shit be right in front of our faces, fam.
Yeah, the Matrix is its own monster. You know how it go.
Yeah, so all these people out here claiming to be white, they committing identity fraud, and our people are committing. Our people have been identity theft.
Yeah, so basically.
You feel me? They've stolen our identity as identity theft, and they're committing identity fraud at the same time.
Right. I got something to say. A side note. Since we talk about what can make the world better, listening to this man speak right now, I just want to say that reading can make the world better. I just want to say that for everybody listening. Like, reading can make the world better. Okay.
Yeah, fam.
And that's the
Real
problem.
shit.
Like we used to get killed, like we get killed and persecuted for reading. But now we
Yeah.
can read. It's like, okay, why aren't we reading?
Somebody hit us with, y'all know the line. Somebody hit us with, yeah, our ancestors died to read, or our ancestors died to vote. And then you be like, well, how come ain't nobody dying right now to read? Why you ain't read?
For real. For real. Learning how to enjoy reading too as well. Like get a because I think now since I expressed it a little bit, get a feel for reading. Like really sit down and really find something that you're interested in. Listen to it. Listen to your audiobook. Read it. Like intake the knowledge.
Yeah.
Think about it for a minute after you read. Like because we really really skipped out on reading for a lot of our younger days.
Yeah. Real rap. Get back to that reading, man. And then not only just reading it, but actually, like you said, more like intaking that information and actually being able to apply it. Take it in, read it, but apply that reading to real life, like contracts. Contract is another form of enslavement in its own. Paper genocide. Like, think about this. Like, if somebody tell you fill out a census and then you put black down there, but the next time if somebody listening to this, the next time you go fill out for a job, put down when they say black, white, whatever it is, check white off. And then it is gonna be stronger when you read up on it, history of Moors and free white person status, and then you check it off. Now you able to defend it. They be like, man, this dude checked off or she checked off white. What you mean? Just in case, you know what I'm saying? They might try to ask you a question. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't even gonna lie. In the checkbox, like when I was younger, like I started getting annoyed with checking off black, so I just started saying, don't worry about it.
I just put other, truth be told. That's like whenever I get the chance, I just put other.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. On other, even when you see, look, remember how we talking about how they sneaky, how they slick? When they put other down there, the corporation slick, fam. So when they put other down there, that's the window for the ones that know to write down Moor or Moorish American or Al Moroccan. See, they slick. So they'll put it there, but they not gonna tell you why it's there. They'll just say other. But see, if you just check other off, they go by assumable jurisdiction. So it's based off what you appear to be. So they'll be like, oh, well, he's black. He's a black man. Or she's black.
They did that to me. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's real shit because they're going to assume based off what you think or what they think you are, not your nationality. So they'll be like, oh, you fit the description. No, police be like, oh, he's black man, you fit the description. You know what I'm saying? That's color of law, and that's what they work off.
And you know what? This is why I'm still unknown in their system. And I've been told it's a good thing or whatever, but I just feel like, dang, that's disrespectful. Like I thought, when I was younger, I was checking on black and applying for something of theirs, and they was like, oh no, you're not black. You are what your father are. And if I remember it was mother, I was like, how am I with my father? I was like, no. And then they was like, well, you're unknown. We don't know.
Yeah, you are what your mother is. Yeah, you are. We are what our mothers are. This is why the attack has been on the woman so hard to get her to strip, twerk, and all that goofy shit, sell her body and all that, stay in her lower root chakra energy because it's not stimulating her crown soul energy, her crown energy, her thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's another part of the Unum Sanctum operations. If you can control a woman, because think about it, G. If you can control a woman, you can control everything. If you think about it, because if you got the woman to do what you want them to do, dude's gonna do what the woman pretty much want if they want to holler at that woman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you can control her and be like, hey, look, they not gonna need slave masters no more. Because you could have a woman that's a Moorish woman, but if she got the colonized mentality of a European hybrid slave master, he ain't got a hot chains no more. He could just use her. And that's one of the greatest psyop military weapons that they're using right now. They're over-sexualizing the Moorish women to get them to do all that silly, goofy shit, twerking and all that shit. I want the bag. You got to meet my standards. They ain't talking about nationality. They ain't talking about free national principles. They ain't talking about reading shit. They just want the bag, Fendi and Gucci and all that goofy shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the woman The woman is the life portal. She brings the nation because she's the one that bears the children. So if you attack the woman, you could conquer the nation. And that's what they've been doing since the 1930s. Really
Yeah.
before that. Yeah, real shit. Really before that though. Like the late 1700s, 1800s. They really been on that shit hard.
At this point, for women and for men, whenever we see a way to make money, an easy attraction to money, you gotta sit back, put your thinking cap on a little bit, because that's clearly things that's taking you away from God. It's taking you away from morals. It's taking you away from the best version of yourself, the character you're supposed to carry. It's probably taking you from the role that you're supposed to be playing on earth naturally. So we just gotta watch for the easy money when it comes down to women defiling themselves for like you said, stripping and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's a bag, but is it life? Is it bringing you life? Like, really, like long term, is it bringing you mental wealth, spiritual health, all of those things? It's not bringing you none of those things. You're defiling yourself, and you always gonna look in the mirror and always gonna feel like you're missing a piece of yourself. But then you're gonna have that money there to hold you down for a second. But it's just not gonna feel right in the long run. And retired strippers and stuff like that always saying stuff like that.
Yeah, real shit though. I mean, I ain't never met a stripper that got a retirement plan. I mean,
yeah, well, some get lucky. Some get lucky and go talk about it.
Yeah, they might smarten up and then. But I mean, because whole time we can't even. But see, we can't even. This is the thing where they be dividing us, fam. They have us. Well, we are like, we'll talk shit about strippers, but then dudes will go out there and put bread up in the strippers' pockets, or lack thereof type shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we fighting against the women and the women fighting against the men, but in reality, we not coming together on a united front mentally about nationalism. You know what I'm saying? Standards, free national standards. Like, what do you stand for? Like real shit.
Well, we don't go there. We don't sit there and think critically. Critical thinking is like a lost art. Like, it's starting to become. I'm glad that the frequency is raising right now, and we about to shoot the frequency up more. But it's just like there's no the art of critical thinking is very, very minimal, and that's the beginning of opening up to who you really are and what you really do and stuff like that. We're not even doing that. Getting closer and closer to God take more than critical thinking, but at least critical thinking get you to respect yourself a little bit.
Yes, sir. And critical thinking is everything, because if you don't know who, what, when, why, where, and how, what are you doing? Like, you just pretty much out here moving off impulse. Impulse don't get people nowhere. You got to sit back and think. You know what I mean? You got to reflect.
Definitely.
If anybody knows that, I do.
Me
know
too.
Where impulse can get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, me, myself included, I'm not excluded from that shit, because this shit that I be on some impulse shit sometime, and then I'll be like, fuck, why I even do that shit? You know what I'm saying? So it's a learning process, steady learning. But the more you steady learning, the more we growing. So, you know what I'm saying, to the creator, to be ourselves, the higher self, not just be caught up in the lower self. So we looking at materialism, like to be in the world but not of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to drop that song design, not of the world. See, that's what's needed right now at this second.
Oh, you finna drop some bars?
Oh yeah, I made a song called Not of the World, you know, like, and I just really it's a good song, man, because I changed my sound to uplift God now, and it's a good song that's really gonna make people feel like the 90s a little bit, like, but it still sound new because I know how to make my sound a little new. So it's just new enough, but it's nice and just a high frequency song, you know. So sure. I'm about ready to let that one go real soon.
Yeah, that's the confirmation right there. This the first time we spoke right now, and it's already on. It's lit.
Thanks, bro.
In the world, but not the world. Real shit.
Yes, and it's a good thing, because music that's how it's getting to, you know, the frequencies. We've been talking about it for a little while, but we know that frequencies is important, and the music is just like channeling low frequencies and making us do all kind of craziness. So I gotta tell my daughter all the time, you know, like, stop listening to these people. You look like she don't even know. Like, some of them be trannies, you understand? Some of them is just not
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you got to be careful what you listening to. You cannot be listening to this stuff. And she'd be like, why? I'm like, girl, do you hear what they saying? Are you
Yeah.
listening to what they're saying? And
Yeah.
not to judge anybody, but you got to train these kids because they're being trained by the social media, by the music, and
Yeah.
the rappers, the female rappers are training them to be slurs.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on now, you're not teaching them anything. And then your kids is looking at you, and they're looking at you because now when they grow up, they're gonna hear the messages you left behind for them. That's why you see a lot of them coming out like, oh, I apologize for what music I've been making, and like, come on, it's kind of too late because it's out there.
Right. And this is the power that Moorish women have that everybody in the world knows. Moorish women have so much divine. Men have it too because it's always a balance, yin and yang, of divine masculine and divine feminine energy. But the attack is always on the Moorish woman. Always on the Moorish woman. Because especially like sonically, like how y'all speak to and how we Moorish men receive the frequency, especially a high frequency and a low frequency. You know what I'm saying? That's why they want to over-sexualize the woman and shit. But Moorish women speaking on a high frequency, man will have to get into, they will have to level up just to be able to talk to y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just to be able to talk, just to be able to have a conversation with y'all like, all right, I ain't chasing the bag. I don't even want that shit. What the fuck are you bringing to the table besides material bullshit? That alone to have a dude like, man, look, hey, you want to read something? What you want? You want to, you know what I'm saying? You want to go out on you want to make a date about doing this and nationalizing what you know what I'm saying? It's a whole different conversation.
That's yeah.
Right.
Yeah, somebody gotta decide to take the role to do something different. Somebody has to change because it's keys on both sides.
Yeah.
Men could be like, yo, you know what? We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do that. It's like a job. If you got a job and everybody's like, yo, what's going on here right now? They treating us unfairly. Why are they paying us this low amount of money? Why are they not giving us enough vacation time?
Right.
All right, you know what? We all going on strike. And if everybody goes on strike, guess what? They're going to get that raise.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what you call the body politic in law. Body politic. Like y'all seen that clip where the Mexicans had walked off their job? Y'all seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what you call a body politic. Standing together on free national standards and principle. If whatever the fuck happened, one of the Mexicans got into it, got laid off or quit that day, all of them went up like, man, nah, you ain't finna mess with Jose or Juan. We all walking off. You know what I'm saying? But that's the power of nationality. If we start sticking together on principles, we ain't necessarily got to rock with each other on everything. But the principle is, if you fuck with one of us on you trying to get over on one of us, we all gonna, stand up. Yeah, you gonna have a few Judases and shit, because motherfuckers gonna sell out. You gonna have that. But if it's more of us standing on principles and standards and law, it's gonna outweigh the ones that's on that fuck shit. Like the Mexicans in that video. You fuck with one or two of them, all of them walked off. Shut the whole plant down.
Yeah,
that's why we're doing what we're doing right now, because the quickest way to get our people to engage in better activities amongst each other is to raise the frequency and make it cool.
Yeah.
Keyword is make it cool, because everybody loves being globally accepted.
Yeah.
Make it cool to do the right thing.
Right. They think
make it cool to treat your brother. Make it cool to treat your brother right. Make it cool to read, like I just said earlier. Make it cool to not embrace women stripping. Make it cool to love one another. It sounds lame. Yeah. You could be confident and have that appeal still. You could still have that appeal in your spirit. Like I got that vernacular. I could still have that vernacular and say, yo, I got love for you, bro. I don't know why everybody make it seem like your love is lame. Like, I'm not soft because I love you. I don't. I listen. Yeah. I'm just trying to do something right. You know what I mean? Like, let's make it cool though. Let's make it cool to do this.
And that's the Moorish Divine and National Movement. It ain't like you got to be soft or sweet and all that shit. Nah, you got principles. You stand for something. The first principle is love, though. So it is like you was just saying, more like it's cool to show love to somebody because it's cool for somebody to give love as well as to receive love. Like you want to treat people, that's the golden rule. You want to treat people like you want to be treated. If somebody treating you with love and then you take advantage of that person, you don't love yourself. Because you see that like a weakness, like, this nigga, know what I'm saying? This nigga, cause he's showing love and this nigga soft. Let me pull it with this dude. Versus, man, he just treating you like he want to be treated. And a lot of people, like you saying, they shame that part because of the fact that they don't know who they are. They like, you a sucker because you showing love to me or you helping me out. And somebody, a Judas nigga, they're coming there trying to snake dude, and he just showing love. And then somebody is showing love, they end up getting burnt by, you know what I'm saying, a snake dude or something. And that kind of like mess it up too. But when you start studying this more science though, you're looking at things on all levels, multi-dimensional levels at the same time. You know what I'm saying?